going on, dudes and dudettes? So a bit of USC news. Both Travis Dye and the tight end Josh Fowler are going to be playing tonight in the East-West Shrine game that'll be on the NFL Network around like 5:30 tonight, I believe, LA time. So it is kind of surprising to me that Dye is able to play because his injury was probably like 2 to 3 months ago, but apparently he's still able to go. It probably was longer too. It just seems like it happened recently, but definitely very excited that he's going to be able to get a chance, and never know, hopefully he will be healthy enough to get an invite to the combine as well, because I think he's definitely going to be a really good steal. Just because of that injury, people are probably not going to be taking him that high, so he will be able to go to a good team in my opinion. And Follow, he's a guy who underperformed, as you know, as I've said a bit, as a 4-star tight end, something like that. But I don't know, he's probably going to be used as a really good blocker. So if Darnell Washington from Georgia could be a really good blocker, he doesn't really catch the ball as much as people think, even though he's like 6'7" for the tight end position, but he is a great blocker. So Follow at 6'5", he definitely has a chance to be able to make a roster as one of those H-backs or blocking type of tight ends. Then Mekhi Blackman, you heard me mention him recently, that he's at the Senior Bowl from USC, the cornerback, and he's actually been doing really good. Saw a couple of reps from him. He was able to, I think he gave up a catch, but it was actually an incompletion because the guy stepped out of bounds. He only got 1 foot in bounds, so if it's in the NFL where he's going to be going, that would be considered not a catch. So he's been going pretty good. A lot of good one-on-one drills with the other top wide receivers that are there at the Reese's Senior Bowl. So definitely very excited for his future, and hopefully he will be able to perform well also during the combine. What's it, in March? I believe that's when it usually is. Then Colin Mobley, the defensive end for USC, that entered the transfer portal a couple of weeks ago. It seemed like he is withdrawing his name from the transfer portal. As of right now, he looks to be on USC's roster for the spring, which isn't surprising just because he probably wanted to see what type of teams were interested in him and what he could get. Maybe NIL-wise deal at other places, and probably didn't like what he was looking at, so just decided to stay in. He could always still transfer out around May or something like that once the summer classes come around. So I'm pretty sure USC will be busy once again around there. So overall, if he stays, I don't mind it because USC does need guys on that defensive line. He's like 6'4", 240 plus, so hopefully he does end up maturing into that body and becoming a more consistent player for USC. But if he does move on, then good luck to him either way. Then when it comes to Juju Watkins, the #1 women's high school player who did commit to USC, the other day she set a record, I think, for the school. She's going to Sarah Cannon, but she dropped 60 points in that game and also had 21 rebounds. I know the points were a career high for her, a new one. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, she's very talented. Did see some of the highlights, a lot of easy free throws and easy way to pad up the stats, but it did seem like she was going against lesser competition. So maybe once she gets to USC, it will be a little bit more difficult to be that #1 overall player, generational type of player, but we'll see what she can do. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her on the roster coming in next year. Then when it comes to a Calabasas senior running back and King Miller, apparently he has committed to the USC football program as a preferred walk-on. I think he's like around 6 foot, almost 200 pounds, so a big, strong dude. But I guess he didn't get any scholarship offers that he liked, and he's a local product, and USC always accepts really good, talented guys as preferred walk-ons because you just never know if a guy can end up earning a scholarship after a certain number of years on the roster if he's good enough. So USC does need a little bit of depth at that running back position, in my opinion. So either way, still think this is a win-win for a local LA product player for USC. Then when it comes to, yes, a quick recap of yesterday, National Signing Day. Nothing much really did happen. Still, Walker Lyons, the 4-star tight end from up there in NorCal, did officially commit to USC. Once again, flipping from Georgia. So it's pretty good that USC has been able to get a lot of good, talented dudes. Yes, he will miss this season coming up, but I believe he will be available for the 2024 football season. I believe he will be done with his mission with his Mormon religion, so that's pretty cool that he will be at least coming up at least a season earlier than I thought. So either way, good luck to him. And then also they did officially sign Jacoby Lane, as I mentioned yesterday as well in that short video. Once again, a 4-star wide receiver from Arizona, very tall, athletic guy. Reminds me, kind of has the switchiness moves of an AJ Green, just a little bit, not shorter because he's like 6'4", but a little bit slower. But I'm pretty sure once he gets his body correct, grows into it, and gets a bit quicker, he will be one of the top down the field targets, and especially like running fades into the end zone. He'll be one of the good guys for Malachi Nelson in the near future. So definitely very excited that we were still able to get this guy on campus. Definitely looking forward to that. Also, a little bit of update news on Deuce Robinson and Warren Robertson. So Robinson is still contemplating his future, especially with the MLB. I believe I did find out that the draft will be happening for the MLB baseball draft, whatever it's called, around sometime in May. So he still has a chance to maybe sign with the team or come in as a preferred walk-on anywhere, pretty much, because he is a talented dude at that point. But I guess he wants to see if he will be able to get a really good enough contract from any of those teams. And if it's a first-round pick, you might as well end up going, because that's more guaranteed money than he will be making as of right now. His time in college. So seems like he will be going that way if he does end up getting drafted, but we will see. Then Warren Robertson, as of this moment, I didn't see any news that he did commit. I could be wrong, but we'll see, because I know you're still considering TCU, University of Texas, and USC down the stretch. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully we hear some good news about that 4-star player from the state of Texas. Then when it comes to Evan Mobley, yes, I did mention him, that he was in the Rising Star Challenge, where the second-year players and the first-year players are mixed up and they play to showcase during All-Star Weekend, especially that Friday. And I didn't give him his proper due, so there's a picture of him so you could see. Congrats to him, ex-USC guy. Fight on, obviously. Then when it comes to Duke, yes, they hosted Wake Forest the other day at home, and I want to say they did lose to Wake Forest on the road a week or so ago, so it was a pretty tough game for Duke. Came in the last second, but Duke was able to win this one in the very last second. Ended up winning 75-73. Didn't really get to see the highlights, but did see the final score, so hopefully good enough highlights that I am showing here. I'm talking enough here for those highlights, but yes, overall, still a really big time victory for the Duke Blue Devils in ACC play. And when it comes to Tom Brady, yes, he officially retires again. And it's only a little bit surprising and kind of funny that, yeah, he did say he was retiring last year, had a whole press thing, and ended up going back to the Bucks. But then it is kind of funny that his announcement yesterday was on Groundhog Day, I believe it was. So, obviously, if you know the idea of Groundhog Day, the same thing happens over and over. So is it a joke that he's retiring again, or is he going to not retire again and return to, play with the Jets or freaking Tennessee Titans or Las Vegas Raiders? You never know. But yeah, overall, I guess, yes, he's been a pain in my, a thorn in my side, a pain in my side, whatever the saying goes. But I believe he has a record against the Chargers of 7-2, especially when he was up there with New England, especially in the playoffs. He always seemed to knock out my LA Chargers, and it sucks, but still had a lot of respect for him and what he could do and did do, winning multiple Super Bowls. And I don't know how many MVPs he won. I think Manning might have won those more, and Rodgers too. But either way, still one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time player in the NFL. And sayonara, I guess, but you never know. Could be back too, so we'll see. Then LeBron James the other day made the top 4 in NBA's assist history. That's how you say it correctly. But in the history of the NBA, he's now top 4 overall. I believe he passed Mark Jackson and Steve Nash, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think he did it up there while they were playing the Knicks or maybe the Nets, one of those New York teams the other day. So congrats to him, I guess. And speaking of those Knicks, yes, the Lakers ended up having to go into overtime the other day to play against them and ended up winning 129 to 123. Luckily, LeBron James did get another triple-double. I think it's only his 4th triple-double of the year, which is kind of surprising, but he did have 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists. Anthony Davis threw in 27 points and 9 rebounds as well. Especially like Westbrook, he probably only scored 2 points in that last bit of overtime, but throughout that whole entire time, he was setting up everybody with assists and getting LeBron scoring and AD scoring and Schroeder a 3-pointer. So yes, he has been pretty good, but I know the Lakers are also maybe inevitably including him in a trade, and maybe those future first-round picks be able to get a really big-time, good enough star player. I know I did this pretty good mix-up of guys that they have been recently linked to in rumors, especially a guy like Gary Trent Jr. and Terry Rozier, but it's a big-time trade I was able to get off on fanspo.com, and the trade was successful, but there's like 10 players involved or something like that. I had to include like 4 or 5 teams total, but I'll get into that on another video, so it's running a little bit long. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Fight on.